I love how the light is reflecting off of this cup. It's pretty crazy. So there's three big changes that I see happening in the info product space that I wanted to share with you. Anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Lucah. I've been working in the online space for almost a decade doing Facebook ads and branding and optimizing sales funnels. And so I work with a bunch of different creators on a variety of niches, courses, programs, one-to-ones, builds, and I'm noticing kind of three changes as I work with different people and as I kind of see what's working in the space. And so I wanted to share those with you. So if you are someone who runs a course, program, has one-to-one, or you're building that, or you're starting a new offer and you're using social as the main vehicle for your traffic, whether it's organic social or paid social, these are things that you can consider if you want to increase revenue, increase profitability, increase conversion rates. I am very into how the data works as well as how the creative strategy works. And by that I mean, what are the metrics that you need to look at and how do you then optimize them so that you can make more money, have more time freedom, and do the things that people who tend to be in the online space want to do, right? Which is make money more easily, obviously help people, and build something that has impact. So here's three things that you can implement inside what you are doing as we move into 2025 that will help you do that stuff more effectively. So the first thing is more storytelling. You need to do more storytelling across every touch point in your online funnel. So that's in the content that you're making, in your actual landing pages, in your sales calls, if you're doing sales calls, and if you're not doing sales calls, and in your offer documents, and then within your actual program, community, one-to-ones, or even if you just have a course, like within your course material, okay? And emails. Basically every single place that you have a touch point with customers, you should be doing more storytelling. And what I mean by storytelling is basically the way in which information is put together, right? It's the way in which we take information and we package it up in either a short story or a long story or in a picture or in a video. And we use that to convey the information that we need to convey, because the thing is, information doesn't sell as much as storytelling. And storytelling is a transformation vehicle, okay? So if you just tell someone the information, like how many videos they're gonna get in your program or why they should work with you based on the features and benefits, you will not get nearly as many customers as if you use story as the basis for communicating that information. And I'll give you two examples of this. One is that a few years ago, I started flossing more. I'm going somewhere with this. I started flossing more because my dentist basically told me to. Now, obviously, every dentist tells people that they need to floss, but most people don't do it. And the reason they don't do it is because information alone isn't enough to make people do anything, okay? So if someone just says, just floss, you're like, why? Why should I even care, right? But what my dentist did after looking at my teeth was like, you should start flossing, because if you don't, you're gonna get gum disease. And that was a story that really affected me. And I was like, I really don't want gum disease, so I am going to floss. Now, this doesn't work all the time, like we see with smoking. Obviously, you can tell people many stories about the dangers of smoking, and some people it affects and some people it doesn't. But at the end of the day, stories sell, right? Information tells, stories sell. Another example of this is I was watching TV the other day, and there was this commercial that came on for dishwasher tabs, like the detergent that you put in the dishwasher. And this is how the commercial went. So the guy is washing dishes at the sink, and behind him, his wife and little baby are playing, and the little baby stands up and takes a step and then sits back down, and then the dad turns around because he's been at the kitchen, like washing the dishes, and he missed it. right? That's a story that is they're selling. The story is use our dishwasher detergent because if you don't, you're going to miss your baby's first steps, basically. Spend more time with your family. Dishwashers are faster than hand washing dishes, and use ours because we're the most trustworthy and we're the best, and we're going to give you those moments back in your life. We're going to allow you to spend that time with your baby, okay? So this is how the biggest brands sell, because without story, there is no sale. Without story, there's no understanding of transformation. Now, how this applies to the info space is, I mean, you have a lot of options on your storytelling. You can tell your own stories, like literally stories of how you made certain transformations that your product or service helps you do. You know, you can tell customer stories, which are like, this is how my customer or my student made this transformation in their life or got this thing based on the information or the course or the product or the service that you sell. And you can tell product stories. Product stories are when you're actually telling the story of the product. So this product will, like for instance, that is kind of a product story, what I just said. It's like talking about the dishwashing detergent, but it's also kind of a customer story because it's talking about the benefit to the customers. Now, one big area where you have a massive opportunity if you are using personal brand to do this, so like you post content and that content is supposed to sell people on stuff, is you should tell more vision stories and more mission stories. Now, your mission stories are the reason you do things. That is your mission behind what you are doing and why you care about what you care about, basically why you do the things that you do. And then the vision story is where you hope the world will go and why you hope it will go there. Both of those things are going to have huge impacts on your ability to attract and retain customers, because ideally your customers share those same values and they share those same stories and those same beliefs. And the more you tell that stuff, the better you will do. The more impact you're going to have, the more people you're going to attract, because what's more interesting than that? It's way more interesting to know what someone cares about, why they care about it, what their vision is, what their mission is, than it is to just say like, hey, buy this program, buy this weight loss program, buy this relationship program that, you know, will save your marriage, or buy this sales training program, right? If you're selling that kind of stuff, people need to know why. That's your mission. And then they need to know where they're going to go by being part of it. That's your vision, okay? So write those things down and utilize them everywhere. Like the biggest people in the space, the biggest personal brands that we see online, and the biggest people that you follow, who are also very much in the information space, even if they sell done-for-you services as well, you know their stories. We all know that Grant Cardone's dad died, and that's why he decided he needed to be rich, because he needed to be able to support his mom, right? And he didn't want anyone to live in the financial fear that he saw his mom living in after that, and so that's why he does what he does, right? And he wants that for you. That's the mission and the vision. Similarly, Gary Vee, we all know that he immigrated from Belarus, right? And that he started Wine Library, and that he worked in the family business, and that's where he learned his work ethic, and he grew it to $60 million, and then he started VaynerMedia, and he was an early investor in Twitter and Uber and all those things. He tells that story probably in every single talk that he does, on every single stage that he does it. It doesn't even matter how many times you've heard it. But if people know your story and they know why you do it, and they know your reasons behind it, and they know what they stand to gain through storytelling, not just like you're given the facts of the information, you stand, you know, it's very different if I say, hey, join the Strategy Lab, which is my container, my training container, and working closer with me. And I say, because I'm going to make you more money, I'm going to make you 3 to 5K extra a week. Okay, cool. It's different if I say that versus if I say, hey, I'm going to make you 3 to 5K extra a week because you deserve to go on vacation more, you deserve to travel more, and we're going to optimize your whole funnel so that it's easier to manage and it makes you more revenue. That is more of a story than me just saying, hey, this is the outcome. You got it? Okay. So storytelling everywhere, even in your copy and in your emails. Second is going to be the second change that I see happening in 2025 in the info space is shorter sales funnels, okay? Shorter sales funnels and more focus on marketing than on sales. And what I mean by that is that in the past, it was like, okay, you had this whole complicated value ladder that started with a low ticket product and then upsold people to a mid ticket and then upsold people to a high ticket. And then maybe you had some back end mastermind or some in-person event. And all of this was done through a series of organic content that you were making and paid ads, money that you were spending. It's not that that doesn't work anymore. It's just that the market has become so used to the traditional value ladder that it's not working as well anymore. So what you need to do is you need to understand that, one, people can choose what part of their value ladder they want to go in at any given time. These are not like sequential decisions. You don't have to buy a low ticket to get into a high ticket. Some people might just want to join your high ticket. Like when I'm on the phone with someone, sometimes they just want one-to-one straight away, right? Or sometimes it's like, hey, actually buy this shorter video, right? So people want to be able to self-opt in to the things that they want at any given moment. So it doesn't matter how many products you have. You can be marketing them and advertising them all at the same time, essentially, through your organic content, through your paid. It doesn't really matter, right? You don't have to stick to your value ladder is what I'm trying to say. So shortening the funnel. The second part about shortening the funnel is like, it used to be, again, you'd run people into a VSL, a video sales letter that was like an hour, and it had all this stuff about your background and what you do and what your product is. And again, it's not that that doesn't work, but it's a slow way to do it because not everyone wants to sit through an hour presentation anymore. Not everybody wants to go through all of those steps. And what is faster than that is shorter VSLs, like much shorter than 10 minutes. Like, you're putting people through just the overview. Here's the video, here's an overview of what I do, here's an overview of the most important stuff, and then giving them a call to action. Join this, download this, book a call, whatever, right? When I've made those tweaks in someone's funnel, it's really amazing what happens, because if you ask people to do too many things at the beginning, people just don't have the time. And depending on who your market is and who you're selling to, you want to make sure you understand how much time they have. They may not have time to sit through an hour-long video, right? But they'll probably have time to sit through a 5 or 10 minute video. And then your organic content, and again, this is particularly for people who are using personal brand or, their own content to drive their funnel, is that does all of your marketing and selling for you. The idea is people can look at your organic and they can get an understanding of all the things that you do and all the ways that you help and all the ways that your product or program is going to help them, or why they should join your community, and I'll get to that in a second. That should all come through your content, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever platforms you're using. Use that as your marketing material so that you have to do less selling. You have to do less convincing. You have to do less positioning, like on the call or on your VSLs or on your sales pages, because they've already understand. And this is what I mean about shortening the funnel, right? Is that use your content to shorten the gap, to make a quantum leap between people's understanding of what you do, who you are, and how you help, and then somehow engaging with you as a sale, either as a customer or someone who's a free download or a client. One of the guys I follow quite closely, James Kemp, who's absolutely amazing. If you get a chance to check out his stuff, he's mostly an email and Facebook guy, but he recently has been posting more on YouTube. He has this distinction between customers and clients. So customers are people that spend a small amount with you one time or more than once, but they're not getting any direct help with you. And then a client, you're in a deeper direct help situation. Everybody else is a lead, or they don't know you exist, right? So shorten the funnel every single place that you can. Go through your whole thing front to back, and like mine's really, really short, for instance. It's just I post content, I talk to people in DMs or on a phone call, and then they either work with me or buy something from me or they don't, right? It's like the whole hoops, all the jumping, like I've brought that to $1 million, in sales. So it's doesn't need to be crazy complicated, but you do need to have an understanding of what you can let go of, because I guarantee there's something in your funnel that you can probably let go of, and that'll definitely increase your conversion. Sometimes you need to add something, but that's much rarer case. I was working with a creator just last week on her webinar. We added something to her funnel, and like it got 2,000 registrants in the first 24 hours, and a 24% show up rate up from a 17% show up rate from a couple months ago. So sometimes you need to add stuff, but mostly you need to take stuff away. Okay. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, and I understand that leastly is not a word, but I already used it today in a post, so I'm going to use it here, is going to be in 2025 and beyond. This is already happening, but it's going to even be more so. It's going to be communities over courses. And what I mean by that is that it's not like your community can't have course material, and it's not like you can't sell a course without having a community element, but the amount that you're going to be able to sell a course for is going way down from, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when you used to be able to sell a $3,000 course with no community element and no one-to-one. That's just not as popular anymore. I mean, you can still do it probably, but it depends how large your audience is and how much trust you have in the market. Ultimately, your courses are going to need to be cheaper, and the communities are going to be the thing that is more expensive and or gives you that monthly recurring revenue. Now, this isn't a bad thing, right? Because we've seen two big things. One is that going for one ticket sales all the time can drive you crazy. It's driven me crazy many, many times. It's kind of exhausting to always have to be focused on high ticket sales and always have to be figuring out just one time buy and that's it, and getting new customers and getting new customers and getting new customers, right? Even if you increase the average order value, you will still have to continue to get new customers if you're not selling people on some sort of recurring something. Now, the benefit of the community is that it can be recurring because it's a consistent problem that people face, and it's a place where people want to be consistently involved. It's like going to the same restaurant all the time. You just like the people there and you have similar interests, and you, maybe not the restaurant, but you know what I mean, like going to a gym, right? You're there for a specific goal, to lose weight and get fit, and you maybe like the people who are there too, right? Which keeps you coming back. And if part of you is like, oh, if I don't go to the gym, I'm going to miss that environment. This is where people who are posting content and who are building something off their personal brands or off of their own content, maybe not that you don't identify with the term personal brand, but off their own content, can really thrive, because you can give more information away up front for free, like videos like this, while still having something of value later, which is like, if you like this video, maybe you want to work one-to-one with me, maybe you want to have me help you directly, right? So I don't really care about giving the information away. I used to care a lot more. Like when I was just doing Facebook ads, I was like, I need to protect all of this Facebook ad information, like retargeting and how to make custom audiences and how to install the pixel. It's like all that needs to be sold, which was more popular then. Now I don't care about any of that stuff. Like I could make a video, like I literally show people for free how to do that stuff all the time, because I know that there's more value that I hold based on the information and the things that I do with clients that I can always charge for, right? So don't worry so much about protecting your information. Don't worry so much about protecting your course material, because the course material is pretty much on the internet in most cases. Obviously, your own insight and your own ability to communicate that and who you are as a person is going to be one of the biggest value adds that you have. But you don't need to protect it so much. You can let that go, and you can sell access to you at various levels, whether it's a community level or one-to-one. You can sell done-for-you services. You can sell, cohort group coaching. All of those things are more valuable than the information themselves, because we're connecting with other people. They're getting access to you. They're getting custom, hands-on information and transformation. And that's where you're really going to thrive. So instead of focusing on how do I make this course worth $1,000, you'll probably never be able to do that. But what you can do is tack on other value, which is becoming consistently more important to people, and use that to make it worth more. And as long as you set up your delivery in a way where you're not super exhausted, then you can 100% scale that 5 figures a month, multi-5 figures, 6 figures, wherever you're at. That's how you would do it. So if you feel like you're at a revenue plateau with your info product sales funnel, specifically your social funnel, like you are using social to get more customers, build following, and or make more sales, and you want direct advice on your exact funnel and how to break through any revenue plateaus and just generally either save money on what you're doing or make money on what you're doing, ideally both, feel free to book a call below. I have a link there, or you can apply directly for the Strategy Lab and we can work together on a longer term basis. See you in another one.